March 10th, 2021 Finance and Budget meeting to order. Looks like we have everybody here except for, I believe, Commissioner Fisher. I think he had his shoulder operated on, as far as I know. So again, I'm just going to go around the table and ask if anybody has any burning desire they'd like to ask our Finance and Budget Director, Ms. Gleason, on the March 9th expenditure review. Commissioner Thatcher, do you have anything that you would?
Thank you, Chairman Soares. I'm good this week. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Neill, do you have anything that you would like to?
Thank you, Chairman Soares. I also am good. Don't have anything. Appreciate it.
How about Mr. Reardon, Commissioner Reardon?
Another A for Danette. I'm for 2. Everything looks good to me. Thank you.
Oh, we're getting out of this way easy. How about Commissioner Fortune, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions, Commissioner Soares.
Anybody else have anything that they would like to question on the, since we, Commissioner Frederickson, Vice Chair?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Soares.
You know, the only one that I had talked to Danette earlier and she was going to find some answers for me. And the only one I had a real question on was one for 68 as a claim to board up a, I believe, a house on private property. That was the only question that I had. And I think we still need to get an answer on that one.
Yes, Commissioner Soares, I wasn't able to get a hold of Ed Randall or John Mudry. I tried both of them and couldn't get them. So I'm sorry, I can't answer. It was for $66.58 and it was for plywood sheets to board up a house on Walnut Street. And I think Commissioner Soares' questions or Chairman Soares' questions were more related to being on private property and boarding up. And so I was trying to look into the status of the house to see if it was a Butte-Silver owned property and that's why we were on there, or if it was safety concerns or why we were on there.
Commissioner Thatcher.
Hey, Commissioner Soares, do you think it has to do with that fire that those 2 ladies got caught in over there on Walnut Street?
No, that was actually
safe.
Commissioner Thatcher. No, that was actually, it said in the newspaper it was on Walnut, but it was actually on Locust.
Oh, okay.
So that was my first thought also, you know, and it was, they had it wrong in the newspaper. Imagine that. Okay, does anybody have anything else on the expenditure? If not, we'll move into the budget transfers. Director Gleason, you want to give us a rundown on that?
Sure, I can do that. So you had one budget transfer in the packet this week from the treasurer's office, and it was a transfer from other purchase services to operating supplies for purchasing of new headsets. So they use the headsets, all the clerks in that office. So $1,000 there. I can't tell you the last time they bought them, but it's been a long time. So they bought a few of them just to update them when COVID hit last year, but they didn't replace all of them, and this helps finish replacing all of them. And there's also a $552 transfer in the clerk and recorder's office. Their label printer for recording documents broke, and so it was just easier, or the best thing to do was just to totally replace it and try to get that fixed or repaired. Then in the Metro replacement account, there's a $150,000 transfer. We originally had budgeted potentially in other purchase services for some master plan updates, but then the CIPP sewer lining project that I believe the bids open tonight for looked like a better option of use of those funds this year to try to coordinate with getting some other Metro projects completed. So we moved that $150,000 in that fund to pay for that project. And then in the landfill, this is more of an accounting item here. $36,000 was transferred from construction and process, which is a capital account. That's where all the money, when we originally started the new cell 4 expansion, was placed out for the landfill. And we're now moving the money into the capital line items to cover the 6-liter screens that were replaced. And it was basically, we had budgeted for the money anticipating that if there was an overrun on the cell 4 expansion, they had to use that money first. And then if there was excess funds available, there was understanding that then they could move the funds to purchase these screens. And so that's where we're at in that process. And that was it.
Thank you, Ms. Gleason.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions for on the budget transfers? You know, and I realize this is on our agenda, but Danette, are you starting to get some requests in, the budget requests? Are you starting to talk to some of the department heads now to?
Yes. So the line item budgets, and we'll be getting with you, Commissioner Sorge, to get a better timeline in place for the commissioners, but we've already sent out the line item budgets. They are due back into our office by March 19th. So that we can begin the process of getting everything put together so the meetings with the chief executive and the departments can start taking place. And then he can start formulating his recommended budget to forward on to council. Somewhere I have a tentative schedule here on my desk. What I did with it. Then on March 12th, the departments will be receiving, March 12th, late on the 12th or early on the 15th, they'll be receiving their performance budgets, and the departments will start working on them. We're going to try to have both of those documents available to you together so that you can mesh the goals and objectives of the departments with the actual line item budgets all together. So hopefully that process will be able to take place this year. And then you'll receive them probably mid-June will be our goal to get them out to you, the line item budgets.
Thank you, Madam, or Ms. Gleason. Danette, do you also, and I know this is not on the agenda either, do you anticipate any kind of online public hearings or online public meetings, you know, for the public?
For the budgets?
Yeah.
I think there's some discussion taking place right now that there might be some in-person council meetings. So would that afford an opportunity for in-person budget meetings? I'm not sure. Or would it be better to propose to have them online? So I think that's still kind of hanging out there as we see how the vaccine is helping our community and how we can move forward to have more in-person meetings.
Yeah, let's hope so. Maybe we can start getting to know each other more on a one-on-one basis.
Mhm.
Anyways, if nobody has any other questions, I'd Commissioner Reardon.
Thank you, Commissioner Storage. Danette, I was wondering, and I know that probably everybody on this commission has seen the deal with the COVID monies being available and another bunch coming at us. Is there, is Butte-Silver Bowl going to receive any additional money? I know with this new stuff out, that probably isn't set in stone yet, but they've also mentioned that, like, I believe Montana still has like $300 million available to the counties, or part of that anyway. Have you heard anything on that money?
So, Chairman Sorge, Commissioner Reardon, the Finance and Budget Department has been working with departments. And so right when the CARES Act funding became available through the state program. So in the original CARES Act funds, it was all allocated out to the state of Montana. And then at that time, Governor Bullock, or former Governor Bullock, established a task force. And then they determined on buckets of money of how those funds were going to be allocated. And local governments were allocated a portion of those funds. So we, based on the criteria, have been submitting and receiving those funds. So we will have, by the time we get our final payment for our submittal through December 30th, we'll probably have received close to $6 million. That we're cautioning with that because right now we don't know right now the funds are we're using the guidance directly from the United States Treasury that says how those funds can be expended. And so they're very direct related to the response to COVID. So for, backfilling for contact tracers, that we no longer have funds for holding the vaccine clinics or helping support hold the vaccine clinics. Some of the health department budgets were in essence not able to be used to cover some of the salaries of health department employees if they weren't working in the programs and were diverted to be working on COVID. So those, and then some additional hires that we made in the county for cleaning playground equipment or cleaning the courthouse or other public buildings. Those are direct related expenditures that we can easily support and show that they were in our response of the local government to try to manage the pandemic. And so those we're comfortable with. The other items on how we can spend the money, we're still waiting for some better guidance. It's been pretty hit and miss on getting some good, clear guidance on how those funds can be spent. And my biggest fear is we go down a road or go down a path and start spending some of these funds that aren't really outlined clearly until we get better guidance. And then we end up having to pay the money back. That's not an uncommon thing when it comes to the federal government, that they come in and audit you, and then you're not following their guidance. Even though the state of Montana is the one that received the funds, we're considered a sub-recipient of funds, not sub-recipient of grant funds, because the state is the recipient of the grant funds. So we're trying to get better guidance and better handle on how those allocation of funds can be used. But our department, especially a couple individuals here, well, most all of them had some type of hand into doing this. It consumed a significant portion of Lucy Hansen's position this whole last year. Pretty much a whole position was dedicated to seeking grant funds and finding the funding and submitting reimbursement and responding to 10-page requests by state auditors on R&R submittals. So we have the funds. It's just now how can those funds be spent or allocated out? We will seek, additional funding underneath the new bill, but it'll just depend upon how that's rolled out. We've heard some different scenarios. I've heard a couple different ones just being back today from vacation, and there's been a couple different scenarios being played out that we've already heard today. So I'm not sure if how that's going to work this time. And I guess just to add to that, since we have a second, so our criteria for the local government to submit to the state for funding was based on what they call substantially dedicated employees, the big portion, other than our direct expenses for like cleaning supplies or whatnot. So that meant police, fire, and health department people. And so, but then the Treasury guidance contradicts it and says you can't have budgeted funds. Well, they can't be budgeted positions. Well, all of our police and fire and our health department were budgeted positions. So that's the confusion. We're trying to make sure that we do it appropriately.
Thank you, Danette.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring before the committee? Okay. If not, Commissioner O'Neill, do you want to make a motion?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Source. This time, excuse me, so we'll wake up here real quick. This time I'd like to make a motion to that we have it. Oh my goodness gracious. Can I start that over, Chairman Source and fine committee members? This time I'd like to make a motion to approve the Budget and Finance of March 9th, 2021 for a total of $544,786.57.
Got a motion made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Got a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
All right.
All those against? And I believe Commissioner Fortune, you were going to recuse yourself? Okay, Commissioner, I talked to Commissioner Fortune earlier today, and it's just for an appearance of conflict. There was an expenditure for $17,000 for Fortune Construction for the, I believe, is the health department, maybe.
Yes.
And it's probably in the best interest of Justin, just to CYA, to just kind of watch out for your best interest. So I've marked down as Justin as being recusing himself on the vote. Okay, so I think the ayes have it. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor? All those against? Okay, thank you, everybody. See you very shortly.
Thanks. See you soon.